Well, hey there, guys. Jennifer Kilpatrick with Coldwell Banker Apex. I'm bringing you this week's episode of the 5 questions that I get asked all the time when people are looking at selling their home. As I normally have told you guys, it is location, location, location. That means that just what's going on in Kaufman County doesn't necessarily mean it's the same thing that's going on in Dallas or the same thing that's going on in Frisco, but a lot of this can translate even to Austin, even down to San Antonio, from New York City to even San Diego. So make sure that you're watching this and understanding that some markets are a little bit different, but the 5 questions are always the same. Question number 1. What do you need to do as a seller to get your property sold? As a certified staging specialist, it is my job to make sure that you put your best foot forward, whether that be online or in person, to ensure that the buyer sees the enhancements and the features that your property has that's different from some of the other homes that they may see. And don't worry, a lot of the times when people hear the word staging, they think Chip and Joanna Gaines. It is not that level of staging. Normally, it is just pre-packing and getting rid of things that you aren't planning on taking with you anyway, and then going through and eliminating things that maybe cause clutter or keep your eye away from what they should be featuring. Best rule of thumb that I normally share with clients is if you aren't planning on using in the next 30 to 60 days, go ahead and pack it up in a box and put it in your garage. Think exactly where your car is parked in your garage. Fill that space up from the top to the bottom in that square space, and making sure that you leave an opening so that the inspectors can get to things like water heaters, electrical panels, sprinkler systems, things of that sort. When it comes to pre-packing, remember the rule of 3. That means no more than 3 items on any surface. Yes, in the kitchen, that means you get the toaster, that means you get the coffee maker, and maybe that little container where we all hold all of our forks and spoons and things of that sort. So no more than 3 items on that surface. No more than 3 items on your mantle. No more than 3 items on any bookshelf. Think the rule of 3. I'm serious. It makes a huge difference. And then when you come to closets, make sure that the floors are clean and the top shelves are organized as possible. If you are not planning on wearing that sweater because, it's July in Texas, go ahead and pack that now too. And when it comes to the outside, think of the model homes that you see. Notice that there are fresh mulch, all of fresh flowers, and all the bushes are trimmed. The grass is always very well kept, and make sure that you have either a fresh, clear space in front of your front door, and make sure that that front door either has a fresh coat of paint or a fresh stain. The best way to figure out how quickly your home is going to sell is 2 different ways. One, you're going to want to do a little bit of market research. Your agent's going to look to see how long other homes in the area took to successfully sell, or they're going to look at what's called the days on market. That is from when the house went on the market to the house time it went successfully under contract, and that's going to give you an idea of what the average is at that point in time. The second key to this is making sure that you enhance the property and market it accordingly. It is past the time of putting signs in the yard and just praying that that property sells. And the third question is, what will my home sell for? Buyers these days are savvy. Between Zillow, Trulia, and all of the other secondary apps that are available online and the open records of tax rolls, most of the time, by the time a buyer has communicated with an agent that they're interested in the property, they sometimes know more about that home than the agent themselves that's showing it. So make sure you are looking at all of those apps and your agent is looking at all of those apps too when pricing your home. First off, you want to make sure that you get with your agent to do a comparative market analysis, or CMA. They're going to go through and look at homes that have successfully sold in the area. They're going to look at what you're competing against, and unfortunately homes that did not successfully sell, to help you come up with what is the current market price. This is going to show you what other homes in the area have sold for, what their amenities are, making sure that you adjust for any bedrooms, baths, exterior amenities, and things of that sort, especially here in Kaufman County, to make sure that you are pricing your home at market. And I know what you're thinking. Jennifer, houses are selling over and over again for well above asking price. You're correct. They are. But the ones that are selling because they are currently listed at market price. That means that the buyers can already see that that seller is already realistic with their price points to ensure that they're ready to accept realistic offers. And yes, sometimes that creates the frenzy that has happened in 2020 and 2021 for homes to sell above asking. Question number 4 is always my favorite. What will your agent do in order to help you sell your home? This one is always interesting to me because I think it's funny. Not all agents are created equal, just like not all doctors are created equal, and not all servers are created equal. Every agent does things just a little bit different, so I'm only going to speak personally on how I do things to make sure that my sellers get the most optimal money out of their property in the quickest quickest amount of time. In this area, I think it's important that you work with an agent who is very well connected. Example, I work for a brokerage that owns, I think there's 1,000 of us in the state of Texas. So working together collaboratively, not only with myself and my team, but also working with my brokerage is very important. But the main things that you want to make sure that your agent is doing, you want to make sure that they are key marketers and knowing where the home buyer already is currently shopping to ensure that they see your home. You're going to want to make sure that the property is getting the exposure that it needs. That is things like professional photography, professional videos, and videos just like this to ensure that your property is being seen by as many eyeballs as possible. And then of course, we want to share all of those properties through MLS, through all of those secondary websites that we've already talked about previously in this video. And then also sharing it with anybody who is an agent that has sold in that neighborhood in the last 12 months, and then also their brokerage. And there's question number 5, the one that I find causes people the most amount of stress. What is the process of selling my home? This process doesn't have to be overwhelming. Make sure that you hire an agent that has a very clear system of what each step looks like to ensure that your house gets on the market and under contract as quickly as possible. So some of those things are going to be this. The first thing that you're going to need to do is get with your agent, go over your comparative market analysis, sign your listing agreement, and come up with what your optimal time frame is of selling the property. Then the second step is going to be putting together your marketing package. That's putting the sign in the yard, that's doing your brochures, that's getting your professional photography and videos done. From there, your agent's going to need to collaborate with some of the other local agents to set up the showings, set up your open house. And then once you have that, then hopefully you're going to be getting multiple offers or offers in and start negotiating on those offers. Once those offers are executed, then you're going to have your inspection period, your appraisal period, your financing period, and then your title period. From there, you're going to work with the title company, the other agent, and all of the lenders and mortgage companies and things of that sort to go ahead and schedule closing. Once closing has been scheduled, you'll have a final walkthrough. Then the final walkthrough will lead to you going to closing to sign the paperwork. Once all of the final paperwork has been signed, then you'll have funding. That's where you get your big payday. I know that's kind of sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Don't worry, your agent should have a very clear system to let you know exactly what steps are coming next. One of the ways that I do that is I have a weekly Monday email that goes out to every single one of my sellers to let them know what they should expect this week and what they should expect to happen next week to ensure that everybody is on the same page and nobody is stressed. That is a whole bunch of information, but I wanted to make sure that I took the opportunity to tell you guys what are the 5 questions that most sellers ask and answering most of those questions so that you can make the best decision of what agent to hire and when is the right time for you to sell your home. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If there is more information that you would like, please go through and subscribe to my channel. Not only will you get videos just like this for sellers, I will be sharing one for buyers, and then also I'll be digging in a little bit more into those 5 questions and some of those topics that a lot of sellers are asking.